Surfing, an iconic sport loved by many Australians, played a key role in a highly successful 3-year research project involving Indigenous youth. The objective was to discover the impact of sport on communities. The Australian Sports Commission, in partnership with Laureus Sport for Good Foundation, Surfing Australia and the University of Queensland, conducted the research at various locations around Australia at existing surfing programs.
We chose a site of surfing because surfing has a number of key features that were really attractive in terms of a research and a sport perspective, in that it's equally acceptable for males and females to be involved, it's a leisure pursuit as well as a competitive sport.
The project, now completed, has produced some interesting findings.
Over the 3 years, we found that a lot of these programs were highly successful, and some key features that led to this success, the main one was that surfing and sport in general had the capacity to bring people together. And this was found to be really important on a number of different levels, because it helped the Indigenous participants connect with land and culture, but it also helped them to connect with community and their peers, which was really important, particularly for some Indigenous youth who felt quite isolated and disconnected from others.
One of the key achievements was gaining insight into effective research and reporting methods. In terms of engaging and interacting with Indigenous communities, the 3 key outcomes were long-term acceptance, greater involvement of the community, and self-determined goals. One of the key challenges for researchers was overcoming pre-existing opinions.
So one of the things that we had to be really aware of in this research was that Aboriginal communities have a long history with government and research organisations. So there's quite rightly a fair degree of cynicism, particularly among some of the more senior members of communities. And that was a really important thing to be aware of because it jeopardised the quality of the data that we could collect.
A new approach to data gathering was required.
So it was necessary to adapt our approach when designing this research because traditional methods of research are really strict and tightly controlled, and that wouldn't have worked in this particular case. So the major findings in terms of our methodology that were really useful in this particular project, the first of which was an attitude of partnership. So we went to each of the sites with a real attitude that we wanted each of the communities to be involved in the shaping and the conduct as well as the analysis in this research. So we were conducting interviews over breakfast. We'd be doing it while we'd be doing the dishes. We'd be communicating with research participants to and from the beach as well. So it was really important to be quite adaptable in that way. So we were really careful to use lay language with all of our research participants. A lot of the time we were dealing with children as well, so it was important to be aware of what their backgrounds would be and make sure that they understood what we were saying. And the second was about meaningful, ongoing visits to sites. So none of them were one-off visits. Each of the sites we went to a great number of times to establish that rapport and make sure that the kind of data that we were collecting was of a high quality. The third area was about taking a strengths-based approach. So Indigenous communities are often characterised as being really in deficit, and there's no doubt that there are problems and issues with Indigenous life, but that's not universal. So this project is quite groundbreaking. So in the Australian context, very few studies have ever attempted to look at the impact of sport programs in such a rigorous and empirical way, and over such a long period of time, over the 3 years that this project was conducted.